All right, we're back. Graveyard Shift Movie Podcast. What episode is it, Maverick?
Fucking 90.
Nope.
Damn it.
It's episode number 149. So,
Easy.
yeah, you were off just a little bit, but it's okay. And this week, we're here to talk about Evil Dead Rise. Brand new. Came out this year. I believe last month. Me and Maverick and Bags had a nice night. We went out to see it at like a 8 o'clock showing or something. It's been forever.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've been in a full movie theater. The stuff I've gone to see, I can go since I have Fridays off. I can go like Fridays at 12 o'clock and no one's ever there. And when we went to see Terrifier 2, no one was going to see that fucking thing. So it was just you, me, and Tyler in there. But no, we had a full theater. We had a couple drinks before the movie, which I did learn. Which I don't know. I think it's because you're an alcoholic, Maverick.
Whoa.
But I mean, I had 2 beers. Bags had.
Y'all weren't even trying to drink.
I was drinking. We were having normal people. We were having normal people drinks. You downed a rum and coke 30 seconds into it, and then we're like double immediately.
I went there we were at a bar. I'm not driving.
Yeah.
So let's have a little fun.
I'm responsible, everybody.
You were driving, but we were also watching a movie. So
listen. Anyway. But yeah, and Bags had, I don't know if he had 2 vodka cranberries or just the one.
I think he had the one.
But either way, we sat down, and I think the movie had started for maybe a minute, and Bags was like, I gotta go piss. He got up to leave. And then he came back and maybe made it another 15 minutes, and was like, I gotta go pee again. And I was the same way, where I knew once it started, I was like, ooh, this is alcohol piss, so it could just keep going. So I made it probably halfway through the movie, and then I finally had to go. And luckily, I didn't have to go after that. But anyway, I realized my mistake almost immediately. I was like, oh, shit. It didn't help, by the way, that I got that giant water when we went right in, too. But anyway.
Did you?
Yeah, remember I got that big fucking 20-ounce water or whatever? That was the only thing I got. Yeah. And then Bags got like a giant. So yeah, he was like, yeah, I like to have a water after a drink, and he never drank water. He got his vodka cranberry, and then he had like a large Coke or something. Yeah. But anyway, we had a nice night. Went and saw Evil Dead Rise. The only Evil Dead we've covered on the podcast is the 2013 remake one. Me and Tyler did that one. If you watched that episode, you'll probably remember me saying I think it is probably my favorite Evil Dead movie out of all of them. It's great. So going into it, I knew that this movie wasn't going to surpass that. And I even put in chat, I don't know if Maverick remembers it, but he was excited to go see it. And I put in the chat that I thought this movie was going to suck. There's something about the trailer.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like any of the trailers. So I was like, oh, this movie's going to suck. It did not suck. It was fun.
It was great.
It wasn't as good as the 2013 one that Maverick doesn't remember. He's seen it because I've watched it with him, but he doesn't remember it. But yeah, I'm going to give it 6, maybe a 6.5 for Evil Dead Rise. It's fun. It's a good time. I do think it's weird to explain it because it's very gory, but almost can't be gory, if that makes sense. And the 2013 one, the gore was like hard to watch. I never found anything in this movie hard to watch. There's stuff in Evil Dead 2013, like the dude having to pull like the syringe needle right under his eye, like out of it and stuff. It was hard to watch, but nothing in this movie I ever found hard to watch. But anyway, it's a good time. 6 out of 10 for Evil Dead Rise. Maverick, where are you going to score this one?
Let's see. Well, we'll break it down at the end, but I think we agreed on a 7. Like, we both liked that it was a good 7. So,
yeah.
I'll stick with that. and then we'll talk about it.
I think if Bags was here, that is also what he would give that movie, a 7. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if he honestly liked it or not. Like,
he said he liked it. Yeah, he said it was cool. He said the same thing as me. It wasn't as good as the He's the same boat as me. Where that 2013 one, he's like, that movie's fucking killer. But yeah, so all right. Well, there you go. Evil Dead Rise. Spoiler warning. We're gonna ruin everything about it. I don't know how this one's gonna go. We were in a theater, so I didn't write down notes. I got the Wikipedia plot rundown if we need to get into that, but we might just bullshit about it. And if we hit a stalemate, I'll pull up the plot notes and we can do it that way. But yeah, spoiler for Evil Dead Rise. Gonna ruin everything about it, so you've been warned. First off, Maverick, one of my complaints with this movie, and I don't know how you feel about. Also, Maverick did warn me. He was like, "I don't remember all that much," and it might have something to do with all those double rum and cokes that he was drinking.
No.
But I didn't like the fact that I didn't like the beginning and the ending of the movies. Like, it just seemed like they were like, "It's Evil Dead." So we have to have, like, a cabin in the woods, because every Evil Dead has that. So the very beginning of the movie has nothing to do with any of the rest of the movie. It's like a couple with their friend on vacation out at this cabin in the woods. And, of course, the friend ends up getting possessed by Deadites. That's what they're called.
They didn't say, said at all they were Deadites.
I don't remember. I don't think they ever call them Deadites unless Ash is involved. I think he's the only one that has called them Deadites. So maybe that's not even their official term. That's just what Ash calls them because he's an asshole. But yeah, I didn't the cabin. That's where that is though, where the first chick gets like scalped. And it immediately kicks off with there's a scalping.
It was great.
And somebody gets killed with a drone where it cuts off their head and goes rolling across the docks or whatever. And then because then the girl who's possessed ends up in the lake. I don't remember how she wound up there though. Did she go down there of her own free will?
She died. I think she jumped in.
Yeah.
No, she the drone hit her and she fell in, and then she drags dude in.
Because the drone was going at one of them, but it ducks down and then it hits that lady and knocks her in the lake. And it just knocks her in the lake so we can get the admittedly super cool her levitating out of the lake, and behind her, like at the mountain peaks, it comes up Evil Dead Rise in the background or whatever. And it's playing the same music from 2013 where it's just like a bunch of violins and it's just like yeah, it's Waluigi. He's doing that. Also, I forgot the whole thing with the drone, by the way. There's a fake out in the beginning where it looks like the classic Evil Dead thing where it's like the evil demon coming through the woods, but it ends up just being like a drone flying through, and it was a cool little fake out. But yeah, anyway, so that happens. And then it goes one day earlier, I believe. Yeah, one day earlier. And that's the rest of the movie. And it wasn't until the very end of the movie that I leaned over to Bags and I went, oh shit, I forgot this was all one day earlier. So this is before everything at the cabin happened. And right on cue, the lady who we saw get possessed. By the way, we're in spoiler warning. The lady who we saw get possessed comes walking out into the very end of the movie where everything has just taken place inside of this car parking lot. I can't think of the actual term for that. Car lot? Car garage.
I don't know.
Yeah, parking garage. Of this apartment where there's just a bloody mess everywhere. And then of course she gets possessed. It flies at her. She screams into the camera, cuts to black, Evil Dead Rise. and that's the end of the movie. And it just felt very phoned in. Like you know, you just expect. Also, yeah, because then I'm like, okay, it's one day earlier at the end, so I'm like, oh, cool. How's this gonna keep going? But it doesn't keep going. It just shows the lady get possessed, and then you're like, oh, well, that's how the stuff tomorrow happens. I don't know. It just felt very, very weird. But yeah, that might just be me. uh, Also with this one, no Ash, which I told
No Ash at all. Yeah.
yeah, I told Bags it's the first movie that doesn't have Ash in it at all. Because even the 2013 one has him at the end of the credits. But this one, there is no end credits. Unless he was like a voice on one of the vinyl records. Yeah, the Ashless movie. No Ash in this one.
Assless?
Chapless.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. um, yeah, which is because I thought because he was more involved in this one than I think he was the 2013 one. So I thought for sure he was gonna like pop up or something. But no, he was just like the executive producer. There is
he produced it.
Yeah, he produced it.
I didn't know that. Why wasn't he in it? What the fuck? I thought he was just an actor.
No, he is. Yeah, he does a whole bunch of shit. He produced it. Sam Raimi produced it. Who he's the guy. He did all the original trilogy. Yeah. There is a moment in this Maverick that I didn't notice here, but I've read stuff about it later. This movie sets up the Evil Dead universe, okay? Where it's talking, I think it's during one of the vinyl record players. It talks about how there's 3 separate Necronomicons. So that's that's why the Ash Necronomicon looks different from the 2013 Necronomicon. And then this book didn't have a face at all. It was just a book with teeth. It was really cool, actually. It didn't have the face, but it had like these sharp... It was like a Venus flytrap book. And you had to like sacrifice your blood to open it up. But yeah, so there's 3 separate books. So Ash has the one. The 2013 book, wherever that was, that's a book. And then this book. And basically, Ash, Bruce Campbell, said that if this movie did well at the box office, he wanted to just make like a Evil Dead movie every like 2 years and just have like a universe. And as we speak, literally today, Evil Dead Rise just passed $100 million at the box office. So expect more Evil Dead movies on the horizon, which I'm not sure if I'm excited for that, even though I haven't disliked a single Evil Dead movie. But you know, it's like the Evil Dead trilogy was pretty close together, but then after that, it was like 20 years and there was a movie, and then 10 years and there was a movie, and now it's going to be like year after year after year. It's going to turn into the Call of Duty of horror movies, where it's just every year. And so I'm worried that it might get diluted.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
I doubt it.
I hope not. I hope we see Ash back. Because Evil Dead or
Ash back.
Yeah, Ash versus
flashback.
Very nice, very nice. Ash versus Evil Dead. If you watch that, it ends on like a cliffhanger, where Ash ends up in the future, and like all of his friends maybe are dead. You don't know for sure, but that's how the show ends, and so there's no like resolution there. And so I don't know if they would just make an Evil Dead movie just with him alone in the future, or if somehow he winds back, because he has gone back in time before with Army of Darkness.
Great movie, 10 out of 10. Boom! This is my boomstick.
He says that. That is probably a lot. That movie's either everyone's favorite or it's their worst movie in the series. And it might be I used to say Evil Dead 2 was my favorite, but then when we rewatched the original trilogy, I think Army of Darkness might have been my favorite. Yeah. But anyway, one of these days, I'll get around to talking about those movies, but not today. Anyway, So after that beginning part opens up, and we go to one day earlier, we're introduced to the main character. Apparently, her name is Beth. I'm glad that it told me here because I don't remember her name. But she is a guitar tech for an unnamed band that they don't mention. But it starts off, and she's in the bathroom, and she's pissing on a stick. And she's pregnant as fuck. And it was like, ah, shit, she's fucking...
Ah, shit.
Yeah, she's pregnant. She also, there's a bunch of random earthquakes in this movie. Like, when she goes to leave that bathroom, there's an earthquake, and then later on, like, her nieces and nephews are coming back with pizza, and there's an earthquake, and the pizza gets dropped, and I was very sad when it happened. But yeah, she's pregnant, and she's like, damn, what am I gonna do, So then we go over to her sister, who is like a tattoo artist living in, I think this is supposed to be New York, where this apartment is. It had a very New York vibe. But yeah, her sister, who's like this tattoo artist. There's her daughter. Then there's the youngest daughter, the very young daughter, who, by the way, I just remembered as we started to talk about this, there's the scene of her in the beginning where she's ripping off the head of a doll, and that just never, they just never mention her, because I don't think she never cuts anyone's head off. And unless it was supposed to be like a shout out to that guy just getting decapitated. Like, I don't even think the main villain in this movie gets decapitated. Like, there was no, like, foreshadowing that I can remember. I think it was just a little girl ripping her head off her doll. But anyway, there's her, and then there's their brother, that I can't remember his name. What?
They, them, Tom. They, them.
Was it? No, I think they identify as a he.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Keeping you on your toes there, bud.
Well, thanks a lot. I don't remember.
First confirmed Evil Dead with a trans person.
I like first confirmed Evil Dead with a trans person.
That's a known fact.
Like, yeah, there's one that's unconfirmed. You don't know, but
no, this one's definitely confirmed.
Yeah, identifies as he. So I was right. Thank you very. Who the Oh, shit!
Yo.
Hey, we're talking about Evil Dead Rise, Bags.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Hold on.
Just fucking driving home from work. I fucking went on Discord and saw you boys were, in the chat.
Yeah.
You
sound great, by the way. Can I just say the microphone quality of the phone?
This is my. So I got one earpod in, or AirPod
okay.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, while you're here, what score would you give Evil Dead Rise?
Is this the review of Evil Dead Rise?
This is, in fact, the Evil Dead. We have brought you up. We have mentioned that you were here with us.
Holy shit. Sick. Fuck. I'd give it a fucking 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's what we said. We were like, I'm pretty sure you would give it a 7.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but fuck, like, I don't know if I would ever rewatch that one.
Yeah, I said, I was telling, like, there's so many things in that 2013 one that are memorable to me, and we just started talking about this, and I'm having to read, like, the Wikipedia notes to remember, like, stuff that happened.
Yeah, that fucking 2013 one, that one was fucking raw. Like, I like that one.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, we were talking about how the gore in this one it felt like forced, almost.
Yeah, this movie only works in the woods. I think I said that.
You did, yeah. Bags.
You did.
Yeah, he said that he feels like Evil Dead only works in the woods. Yeah, which they tried to kind of, because remember that lady's in the elevator, and they tried to do the thing where like the tree roots grab that lady, and this time it was the elevator. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that tree was up to no good.
No, or was it? Depending on whose point of view you were watching. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to cut this part out later.
Yeah.
But fucking that tree like rapes women.
It does.
Or like one we watched.
Yeah.
When she was in the elevator, it did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was grabbing motherfuckers.
I was waiting to see if
Yeah,
they were going to
grabbing them,
go
all right.
all the way like the tree went. But it did not.
Yeah, they didn't though.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard Sam Raimi, like, he doesn't like the fact that he had that tree rape that bitch?
No, but it is the weirdest part of the Evil Dead story.
It is very weird.
That happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, by the way, while you're here, I don't know if I told you this, but my favorite part of the whole movie is as the mom is outside and she keeps going, "Let me in, let me in." You just leaned over to me and you kept going, "No, no."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That movie was all right. That was like fun to watch with you homies, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'd have watched it alone, I'd have probably been like, this movie sucked.
Yeah. 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 And it just so happened, I was talking about how we kept having to get up to go piss. And I left right as, like, the first lady turns into an Evil Dead person. Like, I missed the initial, like, she pukes on a bunch of people or something. And I completely missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one part. That wasn't a bad part to miss.
Yeah. Well, you didn't miss
Like,
anything.
if you had to miss anything of that movie, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when the bitch started to go ape shit in the kitchen, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's where I came back in and you were like, you like filled me in. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, are you guys at the end of the cast? Did you just
No,
give it
this
the
is
rating?
this is literally this is just started. Well, we've been going for like
Beginning.
25 minutes. That's how long we've been recording.
Oh, it doesn't feel like that long.
Hey,
Where are you at right now, Mav?
Oh, I'm in the truck, man.
But I think he meant
I
I
where.
know that. But yeah, where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Are you in
I am.
Memphis?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh shit.
Yeah, big
Are you
PA,
in
baby.
Are you in Westchester, Pennsylvania?
No, I'm in. Funny enough, it's called Middlesex.
That is pretty funny.
Hey, that's where Donnie Darko took place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in so long. I feel like it was one of those movies where as a kid I was like, "Oh man, that's peak cinema." And then you watch it now and you're like, "This is terrible."
I just looked down at my phone and I can see you, Tom.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, buddy.
I shouldn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I shouldn't be looking at the phone. I'm driving.
Live your life.
I flipped it over so that
Yeah.
way I'm not distracted. I'm not looking down.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of things that aren't as good as you remember, I tried to watch a Dane Cook stand-up special the other day. Really bad. I was like, oh no, I got out of it
No.
like 10 minutes into it.
Yeah, that guy was cool like 15 years ago, right?
That's as I used to like it back in the day, and then you grow up and you hear like people say how annoying he was, and you're like, what are you talking about? And then I watched it now, and I was like, I see exactly what you mean. Like, it was, yeah, a lot of energy in that guy.
Do you remember his character from Waiting?
Yeah, I literally was just
When he-
about to buy that Blu-ray the other day.
Like, when he says, God, I can't wait to quit this job. I always think of that shit.
Yeah. Well, do you remember, because when we were working at the Low, I used to mention Employee of the Month all the time, because I thought it was the coolest shit ever, how those guys had like a poker set up like on one of the shelves up there where no one could see. They had to take like a forklift to get up there.
Oh, yeah, when they worked in that fucking, like, it was like Costco or some shit.
Or wherever that store was, yeah. And I think Dane Cook had just started, and like Dax Shepard was upset that he was about to be Employee of the Month.
Weird. That movie's terrible, Tom.
Listen, man. Back in the day, it used to Comedy Central would play Waiting, then they would play Employee of the Month, and then they would play Let's Go to Prison, and back to back to back. And that used to be my night. I used to watch all those movies back to back.
Is that Will Arnett in fucking Let's Go to Prison?
Yeah, yeah. Will Arnett, and is that another Dax Shepard where he's the guy that's already in prison that Will Arnett sent him there?
Oh, he keeps sabotaging him and shit.
Yeah. And Will Arnett somehow ends up in a gay relationship with a very large black man. Like, I don't know how that started.
Did either of you watch that Bodies movie?
I didn't watch
what's
it
that?
because I was like, oh, when Maverick gets back, we can watch it at Bags' place. You watched it.
I would watch it again for kicks if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Then, but
Yeah.
it was fucking cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
It's basically Maverick.
I'm glad-
A bunch of Pete Davidson's in it, and they're playing like Among Us in real life. All right.
Was actually I remember
You're breaking up, Bags. So
There's
that's
a
why
little.
we're
You've
back.
hit a lag spot.
it's like Clue.
All right.
Later.
I'm driving.
What the? That was the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life.
There was like 3 of them. If you listened, it was
Yeah,
like 3 different sentences. I just like it stops and Clue.
Clue came out pretty clear.
Yeah, Clue, and then I'm driving. It just clicks out. It just goes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
But yeah, he was like talking on top of himself.
Yeah, it was like
Which was
it was
weird.
trying to catch up, but he just kept going. So it just kept starting different sentences. Anyway, boy, what a what a
treat,
turn of
man.
events. Yeah. So there you go, Bags and the podcast.
His fucking debut since like episode 10.
Dude, forever. I can't. I think. I don't know what his last podcast must have been. I don't know. I'll find it in a little bit and I'll add it in at the end of this. Like when we're winding down, I'll look it up. Anyway, so we get introduced to all those people at the apartment. Just go right back in. Don't pick up or don't re-explain where we are. Yeah, so we get introduced to all these people. Their sister, the one that we just found out is pregnant, comes and stays with them. She doesn't tell them she's pregnant right away. She's just like, oh, I'm here to, kick it. Also, the brother that I mentioned earlier, he's a DJ. He's like in his room, like spinning a record, and he's doing like this dance where he looks like the dude who wants his tablet back in
What?
in fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog, where the guy just spins with his arms out or whatever. Anyway, they come stay with her, or she comes stays with them. And as she's here, she's like, oh, hey, I brought everyone gifts. And I brought this gift for Peter. And Peter is the husband. And everyone gets real quiet and awkward. And the pregnant chick is like, where's Peter? And the mom is like, how about you kids go get some pizza? And so the kids leave. And the mom lady explains to her sister that Peter left. I think it was only a couple months ago. It hasn't been like a year or anything, but he left, and the sister is like, well, why didn't you call me? And the mom is like, I did. It's the first day he left. And then I called you like a week later or something, and you didn't answer either times. Or like call me back or anything. Which, first off, it does seem weird to only call twice. That seems like a weird number to stop at.
Yeah.
You would try a couple more times.
Shit, my cousin. Well, you've been firsthand. My cousin tried to get a hold of me. They fucking call the police if I don't answer, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
if you don't, yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
what the fuck, twice?
They called me on Facebook like 4 times. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
I'm not even friends with them, and they.
Yeah, so there's no excuse, man.
Yeah.
Dude, blew my phone up. They're out in the car riding around looking for me, like they're gonna find
going past my house.
bro.
looking
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
And this bitch only called twice.
I
Get
know,
the fuck
right?
out of here.
Yeah. My favorite part about that whole thing is that whole comedy show. I'm like, man, my phone is ringing a lot.
Oh, I turned my phone off.
I turned it off too, but I guess they were doing emergency calls, so it hijacks your phone.
I don't know. I don't have no emergency call on my phone.
Everyone has emergency call.
I don't not
Yeah,
me.
if you open your phone, it should be at the very bottom of the lock screen, like emergency call, and it goes straight to
No, that's for you to call like 911 and shit.
Or me. Um, there you go, people. If you go on the emergency call, just hit T. I answer.
Oh my god.
So anyway, yeah. So they have a little spat, about you haven't been here. Fucking where were you and shit. The kids come back with the pizza, and this is when the earthquake happens that I talked about. And the earthquake happens, the pizza gets spilled. I was very sad. The youngest daughter does go over to the pizza and still like take out a piece off of the floor and start eating it. And I was like, oh yeah, I feel
That's
that.
disgusting.
But as they're coming back inside, they notice that in the parking lot, the earthquake has cracked the floor and revealed that there's a hidden like floor underneath. And they're like, what the fuck is this? So they move some of the debris, and the brother, I think it's just him by himself, goes down into the underground.
The it was like a bank.
It's a bank, an underground bank. But also, one of my favorite parts of the night is as he's walking through, it's very like quiet and dark, and all you can see is with this flashlight. One woman down front goes, Jesus. And then a statue of Jesus falls towards the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That lady was hilarious.
Was that the same lady that the whole night was like, don't go in there? Was like doing the whole, like,
Yeah.
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 But yeah, and so a statue of Jesus falls at the screen. Eventually, he finds this room full of crosses, and he finds what we know as the Necronomicon, but to him, it's just this thing wrapped in the sack.
It's a book. He finds a weird book.
Weird book. And he also finds a vinyl record. But anyway, yeah, so he takes that, and he takes the book, and then he gets up out of there. And the weird thing is, when he leaves, I don't think he tells them what he found down there either. I'm pretty sure he got up there.
Yeah, he just snatches it.
Yeah. I think he gets up there, and he's like, it was an old bank or something underneath. But he doesn't tell them I found some demonic shit down there.
Yeah, there was some crazy shit down there.
Yeah. So, they go back to the apartment. Well, first off, they go in the elevator, and there's this whole thing where, like, the mom doesn't know if the kids are all right. So her and, like, 4 other dudes that are on her floor are, like, getting ready to go look for the kids, and they ding up on the elevator, and the mom's like, I told you not to use the elevator during an earthquake or whatever. And they're like, fuck you, Mom. And so they go inside, go about doing their chores and shit, and go about their night. Later on that night, the brother takes out the vinyl and puts it on his record player and starts it up. And as it starts, it's playing like it's hyper fast. It's too slow, or it's too fast, So he has to go and slow it down with his hand. And it's this very cool effect because it almost makes like the guy talking have this like slowed down, deep, demonic voice as he's speaking. And of course, this whole thing ends up talking about these guys are a team of priests. I think there's 3 of them. In like, I think it might have been the 1600s or something. It was like a very long time ago. And they had this book. This is, I think, the tape that mentions that there's 3 different ones. And they wanted to experiment with it, but the church denied them access. So they've gone rogue, and they've come here to conduct their own experiments. And the guy is like, I will now start reading from the book. And the brother tries to like stop the record, but there is no stopping it. Like the tape or the vinyl won't stop.
It
just
plays on its own.
Yeah. So as this is happening, the mom is taking out the trash and she's getting into the elevator, which she eyeballed the stairs, but they're up on like the 14th floor or something. So she gets in the elevator, even though she just told her kids not to ever do that after an earthquake. She gets in the elevator. Of course, when she gets to the bottom floor, it's at the exact time that the vinyl stops, and we get the point of view of the deadite fucking flying through, and the elevator opens up and slams her back into the wall, and it goes dark. And then when it comes back up, she's like, ah, shit, you know, what the fuck happened? The elevator's all jacked up, too. And this is where what we were just talking about a little bit ago, the wires start, like, wrapping around her. They just redo what had happened in the first 2 Evil Deads. And it happens in the third one, too. Not the third one, the 2013 one. It doesn't happen in Army of Darkness. That's the only one that doesn't have this. But yeah, the cords start wrapping around her and like twisting her up and pulling her limbs apart and stuff. And she like screams, and then it cuts away. And the next time we see that lady, she will be possessed as fuck.
Super possessed.
Yeah. So after this, maybe you can help me out, because I think this is when I go take a piss. And because I think this is right, because then they go out to look for the mom, and she's like all possessed and shit. So I'm hoping you can.
Sounds right. Yeah.
You can fill in the.
Oh no, I think that's exactly what happens. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm blanking.
This is okay. So she returns to the apartment and proceeds to threaten her family, and then dies after pleading with Beth to protect her children. Is that when she... it doesn't mention anything about the throw up and shit.
She's not...
Is she not possessed? She knows she's about to be possessed?
And yeah, I think she's in the process of like turning. And she passes out like 2 times.
Okay.
And then I think the first time she's I think she was cooking something, like eggs or something, and just fucking them up. Just fucking like terrible. And the sister comes in and she's like her back is turned to her, and the sister's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's just flipping eggs.
Yeah. On
the stove, right? Fucking them up. They have some type of dialogue. I think Homegirl pukes.
I remember that was what Bag specifically mentioned. He said this bitch just puked on everybody.
Yeah, when she throws up everywhere. Yeah, and I think she passes out, and then they put her in the bed.
That's when I came back, because they thought when she's in the bed, they were like, she's dead. I came back and she's fucking dead? I was like, what happened? Yeah, so they put her in the bed and they're like, she's fucking dead as fuck. The earthquake has messed up the apartment, so they're trying to, they go to the staircase and the staircase is collapsed. And the elevator is damaged, and the fire escape is locked. And the older guy, there's an older guy here. There's also a cat that's up in the, up in like the air duct above.
Yeah.
The older guy is like, I'm gonna go get my shotgun and shoot it open. And so he goes to like get his gun to shoot open this fucking.
They're trying to get that door open because they're trying to get out.
Yeah.
The elevator's fucking busted and the stairs like caved in and shit.
So then inside of the apartment, I remember, I think it's her daughter who's in the room with her, and she turns around and the mom is sitting there with her eyes open, and like a fly lands on her, and she doesn't, like, it just goes over her face, and they're like, are you okay? And she like looks at her, and then the sister and the youngest daughter come in, and this is when the mom starts attacking them all. I think is it at this point where she gets the daughter and she takes the tattoo gun and like stabs her in the face with it. I can't remember if it's here or it's later. I'm pretty sure it's here that she stabs her with the tattoo gun. And that'll be important for, later. Yeah, so she attacks the family. They eventually get her outside of the apartment, and they look through the peephole as she chases. There's two random dudes who also just live on the floor, and she like chases them around and murders them. Also,
that's we get the whole slaughter through the peephole on the door.
Yeah,
because they kick her. They somehow trick her to go out into the hallway. I forget how they did it.
Yeah.
But then they slam the front door closed and they lock her in the hallway with all the other people that also live on that
real kind
floor.
Of dick move on their part.
Yeah. And then she just slaughters them all. And I think she ripped some dude's arm off and killed another guy with it. Like,
she does that. She rips out one of their eyeballs and throws it at somebody, and it goes in their mouth. I remember that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she kills them, and then she goes and stands at the peephole again, and this is when she's doing the whole "let me in," and Bad's like, "No," and I kept laughing. And then she gets shot from off screen, and it ends up being the old guy.
Yeah, the old guy,
and he's back with his shotgun, and he's like, "I got her, don't worry," and then immediately, and he gets pulled away. And then I think you hear another like shotgun blast off screen, and then she comes walking back with the gun. And so basically in the span of a minute, everyone else that we were introduced to on her floor are all dead. One of the things about this movie too is the cool thing. So it's not in a cabin in the woods. It's in this apartment building. But the thing is, like, they don't explore any of the apartment. They just stay. They don't even just stay on their own floor. They stay inside of their apartment for the whole movie, basically, until the very end when they're in the parking garage for the finale. And I kind of get it because it's scarier, I guess, if you're inside your own home and this starts happening. But it felt like, you have so much room to play around with stuff in here, and they just didn't use any of it. It's just all one floor that they stay in. And if you're going to go, because the whole, with a cabin, you get like the 4 rooms that are in the cabin, and you have to do, and so now you're branching away from that, and you open yourself up to all these opportunities, but you basically just stay in the same confined space of a cabin inside of an apartment. Anyway. So after this happens, Danny, that's the brother's name, confesses to Beth. Is that the sister or the... Beth is the pregnant lady. Okay. So Danny confesses to Beth about recovering the Necronomicon and the vinyl player, and tells her he's the one that, opened himself up to all of this. Also, when the vinyl was playing, me and Bags and Maverick were all hoping they would say "Liberate Tutume," but they never did. They just should have included it for the joke. So as he's admitting to her, what he did, Ellie, the youngest daughter, is looking through the peephole at her mom, and there is the cool shot of like the mom has her back turned to her and she's sitting down, and as soon as like she looks through, the mom immediately, and she's like, "Oh, there you are," and so the mom comes over to Ellie at the door, and she's like, "Hey, mommy was sick a minute ago, but I'm all good, I'm better now, you can let me in," and because they've like barricaded the door and they've locked it. And this is another, we're watching it in this movie full of people, and people are going, don't let her in, don't let that bitch in, like calling out. And I did not expect her to, because her hand keeps going to the lock, but I thought it was going to be like one of the things where at the last minute she's like, no, and the lady was going to be like, you fucking bitch, what the fuck? But no, she opens up the lock for her, and the mom,
she opened up.
Yeah, the mom immediately reaches in and like grabs her arm and is trying to pull her out. But they manage to come over and get her free, and then slam like the mom's hand in the door, and you get like a nasty hand crunch and shit. So as this happens, Bridget, that's the oldest daughter, this is when she's in the kitchen and she becomes possessed, and it's a really cool, I don't know how they did it, because it didn't look CGI. But she starts like having black ooze seep out of her eyes and her ears and her nose everywhere.
She was on her Billie Eilish tip.
She was. She looked exact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did that exact effect in that Billie Eilish music video, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they just got Billie Eilish's people.
Yeah.
And they were like, here, do this or whatever. I found myself, by the way, I'm going to sound like an old man here. Maybe you know this. Do you know a lady by the name of Ash Nico, I think is how you pronounce it?
I don't think so.
Oh. There's this rapper lady. I think I can call her. She's a she, they. So I think she gives you the choice of what you want to.
Nice.
But yeah, I started listening to her shit the other day, and I found myself being like, this is what Tyler listens to. And it's just very weird. I'll send you some 2 of her songs that you should check out. And I was like, this is some weird shit. But anyway, she has sort of a, I hate to say a Billie Eilish vibe, because I think she was doing it way before Billie Eilish was. But her music video is very like weird shit coming out of her face and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so Bridget turns into a deadite, and she starts attacking Beth. I think this is when Beth gets like stabbed through the hand with a broomstick. I remember someone getting stabbed through the hand with a broomstick, and I'm pretty sure it was Beth, and like the girl going to stab her, and she puts up her hand and like stabs through the hand.
I think so, yeah. The sister?
Yeah. Yeah, and they stab her through the hand. They eventually, take that stick that stabbed her through the hand, and she runs at Ellie, and Ellie manages to like stab her through the head, and she like falls down, and she's fucking, all fucked up in the corner. After this happens, Beth wants to listen to the there's a third.
They fucking tie her up. That's when
they tie her up in that sack.
Yeah, this is not the mom, but they tie up the oldest sister.
Yeah.
And then like wrap her in like a blanket and tie her up.
Yeah, I think it was Danny who did it, and he was like, I figured we should cover her up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is when Beth, there's a third vinyl record. And she's like, we need to listen to that. And so this is the whole reason she's a guitar tech is just because the guy goes, we can't, my record player's broken. And she goes, it's okay, I'm a guitar tech, I can make it work. And so it's just to have that reason of her being able to fix to match all of the settings possible to get this vinyl to play. So she gets it all ready. She puts on headphones so it's not spoken out loud to anyone else. Also, I think she thinks that this might sacrifice her and she's going to become possessed. So she wants to listen to it. So she listens to the tape, the record, and I'm so used to the other movies it always being a tape. That's why I keep saying tape, and I hate myself for it. It really has. It's killed me a little bit inside every time I've said it. She listens to the record, and the priest is talking about how him and his associates tried to exorcise the Deadites, but they failed, and all of his allies were possessed. And with only complete destruction of the host can you stop the Deadites. And then as he's ending it, he's like, I'm giving this for anyone who will become affected like me. And he's like turning, he's turning.
Oh my God.
As he's finishing up his recording. Also, keep in mind, everyone says this, and they're like, you can't exorcise him. Meanwhile, 2 separate movies you've been able to exorcise the Deadite. 2013, they buried this bitch. Bring her back up. She's perfectly normal. And then
because they just say they're demons, right? It's just a demon.
Yeah. And then Ash was possessed in the second one. And I don't remember how they cleared him up, but they did. I remember he gets all cleared up by the end. So
it's like an STD, all cleared up.
Yeah.
Good
and then
go.
It comes back a couple years later. So anyway, that's all done. Bridget eventually comes back to life, and it's very cool where she's like going through the house, like still wrapped up, like looking like a ghoul, fucking floating through the house and shit.
Yeah,
I think she actually
pretty dope.
Isn't she actually floating? I don't think she's walking either.
Yeah.
It's cool. As she's doing this, she ends up stabbing Danny like in the chest. It fucking kills Danny. Danny also apparently sets Bridget on fire before dying. How did he do that? I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember.
I do remember her burning. Now that we just said it, you're getting a phone call. You're going to work. So yeah, Danny sets her on fire. I don't remember how he does it.
Burn.
I do remember her flying around like on fire and shit.
Really? I don't remember.
Was she still in the fucking? She was still in the sack. Yeah.
Bed sheet?
Yeah.
The sack.
Yeah.
Oh no.
After that happens, remember that cat that I mentioned in the vents? That's how the mom outside gets in. She sees the cat up in the vents, so she climbs into the vents and she's able to get into the apartment.
She hears the cat. Like she's out in the hallway still.
Yeah.
And she looks up at the vent and she hears like a rumbling. Yeah. And it's the cat. And then she like cocks her head. Mm-hmm. And then the camera goes to a camera in the apartment, and it's the ceiling with the vent.
Yeah.
And then she does she like spider crawl out of it and she's crawling across the ceiling?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, pretty dope.
Oh yeah, because they do the because I called them out on their shit where they stole the shot from Don't Go in the Attic or whatever that movie was called, where it's when Beth is still listening to the record, and above her the lady comes crawling out of the vent. And in Don't Go in the Attic, there's literally that scene where the girl is listening to like her iPod, and behind her someone's like reaching their hand through the wall or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, she comes in, she attacks Beth. Eventually she gets on top of Beth, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill," or she says the Evil Dead line, that I'm gonna absorb your soul or eat your soul. And then she like stops and she like looks down at her stomach and she's like, "Oh, 2 souls." And I was like, "No, she knows." She knows. And so
yeah,
she starts to like take her sharp nail fucking hands and dig into her stomach, like gonna rip out the baby, abortion style.
No, I don't think that's how they do that.
That's how they do it. They rip them out to the stomach and then they throw them in the basketball hoop.
Dunk them, yeah. Fucking dunk.
Yeah. So she's starting to kill her, and then I don't remember if it was you or Bags that I excitedly leaned over to, and I remember that at the very beginning of the movie, the youngest daughter had a pair of scissors, and the mom was like, "You better not have my scissors," and so she rolled it under the kitchen table so the mom wouldn't see, And as she went to hide under the kitchen table, I went, the scissors! In the theater.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I did it. So I must have leaned over to Bags and been like, the scissors. And of course, that's exactly what happens. So she rolls the scissors over to her. Or I guess slides.
Scissors.
Yeah. And Beth takes it, stabs the mom in the fucking eyeball. And she's like, ah! And she locks up like a spider. Falls over. So, Beth grabs Ellie. They go running out the door. The mom eventually, they decide they're going to take the elevator. They get the elevator working. The mom tries to manipulate the little girl. I remember her being like, oh, don't let her take you away from mommy or whatever. And the mom's like, or the...
Oh, yeah, they're in the elevator. They keep hitting the button, and it's not like the door's not closing. And then all the dead people in the hallway,
they get the fuck back up.
Start getting up, and I think they have a conversation, and they all start laughing or some shit. I think
it's when they start doing the "Dead by Dawn," and they're all doing that.
Dead by Dawn. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, one of them specifically says like, "You're gonna be dead by daylight" or something, and I remember being like,
like a fidget game.
Yeah. So yeah, and she tries to make Ellie come with her, but Ellie's like, no. Eventually, the doors close, but the elevator starts filling up with blood, and they basically do like a reverse Shining, where it starts from inside the elevator, where it's completely filled with blood, and they climb up out of like the escape hatch. And the elevator opens up and blood goes everywhere. And eventually they get down to the parking garage and they get in Beth's or the mom's car. I don't think it's Beth's car that she gets in. But she gets in.
They get it. That's the mom's car. Yeah, that's the mom's car.
Okay.
That's where they went to go get pizza in.
Yeah. Me and Bags, when the trailers were playing, we were talking about Evil Within, and I was talking to someone at work about Evil Within 2, and he wanted to play it, and I told him that the first half of the game, or the first part of the game, I didn't like, but the second half of the game is one of the best like second halves of a game ever. Like it's amazing. Like if that would have been the whole game, it would have been the perfect game. And me and him were talking about Evil Within, and Evil Within has a big giant boss fight with this giant, like, fucking, I don't even remember what he was, but he was in a parking garage, and me and Bags both, he was like, it took me like 3 days to beat that guy, and I was like, it took me fucking forever to beat that guy. And when we got to the parking garage, it looked almost exactly like how the Evil Within parking garage looked. And I looked at him, and he was like, "This is the fucking parking garage."
I think all parking garages kind of look similar.
Nope. Like... They must have used the same one from the game. So they get in this parking garage, get in the car, trying to start it. It won't go in gear, or it won't start, of course. Meanwhile, upstairs, the mom has morphed with Danny and Bridget, the son and the daughter, and they've made like this giant Optimus Prime evil bitch fucking monster. And
they all kind of combine.
Yeah. And they get down to the basement, or the parking garage. There's also a wood chipper down here that you see at the very beginning of the movie. And I went, oh, that wood chipper's coming back. And as soon as they got it, I was like, someone's getting thrown in that wood chipper. And eventually, after a little bit of a fight, there's like a whole, there's a jump scare in the car. They get out around the other side of the car and go running around. Eventually, they get into the van that's connected to the wood chipper, and inside of the van is the chainsaw. At this point, by the way, the Beth also has the shotgun from the old man who died in the hallway. So they fight with the apparently this creature is called the Marauder. There you go. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, because it was every time someone turned, the book would flip to a page, and it would have that
Yeah.
on the page. So when they all combined, the book flipped to that page, and it showed it. I think that the book is written in like blood, so it was like a blood image
Yeah.
of that.
Also, this whole time I've been calling the youngest daughter Ellie. Her name is Cassie. Ellie is
Where
the mom.
fuck you get Ellie?
Ellie's the mom. I don't know how.
Oh my god!
Listen,
this is why.
Listen. If it would have been my notes, the Wikipedia notes, they made it confusing. My notes are very straightforward. I would know all this.
Well, you're using notes, Tom. Not very professional.
What do professionals use?
Their braids.
So anyway, Ellie ends up, at this point it's the Marauder ends up catching Cassie and is telling Beth like, I'm gonna throw her in the wood chipper, but Cassie ends up like kicking her in the face. She gets free. Beth takes the chainsaw, says, what was her one-liner?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
No, that's not it.
No? Oh,
no, it's like it's not feast on this. Let's play. I don't remember what, but she says a one-liner.
Let's play?
Yeah. Sticks the chainsaw in her face. And then they basically like just recreate the ending of the 2013 one, where the 2013 one ends the same, where they stick the chainsaw in the face of this lady. A lot more cuts them like in half. Like it's really brutal when you see it, and it's raining blood. It's raining blood throughout the whole.
It rains blood.
Climax. This movie, the raining blood is from the wood chipper because the lady starts going into the wood chipper, and so it's just shooting out onto Beth. Eventually it gets all chopped up. Ellie's head gets separated from the Marauder and it's decapitated, and it's taunting her and it's like, you're gonna end up the same as mom, you're gonna be a failure and shit, and then Beth just like says fuck you or whatever and then kicks her head into the wood chipper. Beth and Casey then get into the car, drive off, and then at the end of all that, the lady shows up in the parking lot, and you remember that this is it was all one day earlier. And also they kind of explain, they try to show, because I never thought about it, but it's like, yeah, they're in this giant apartment building. Why would no one else come to investigate what is happening on this floor? But the lady, when she comes downstairs, says that like, oh yeah, there was a giant thunderstorm last night. There was all this noise and stuff, and it was storming outside. So I guess they try to cover their tracks by being like, oh, storming. So that's why no one came to investigate.
Yeah, but thinking about it, like, if the hotel is so big that they have their own parking garage, and there's, there's other cars parked in there.
Yeah.
No one's seeing this vehicle covered in blood with the wood chipper. First of all, who owns the wood chipper? Why is it just sitting there?
Well, it's connected to a wood cutting van, so someone is there. Apparently she's the first one up in the morning out of anybody.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So she comes downstairs. She's talking to her friend on the phone. And then she hangs up and she looks over and she sees like the pile of blood. And for some reason, instead of just leaving, she goes and walks over to it and she's like, oh. And then Evil Dead Demon flies at her. She screams. Cut to fucking black, and then Evil Dead Rise. The music plays again. And then that is the end of Evil Dead Rise. This movie had a budget of $15 million. And like I mentioned earlier, it has just crossed over $100 million. So, quite the profit for this one. Let's do best of, worst of for Evil Dead Rise. My best of is going to be... I think it's going to be the like, black ooze coming out of that girl's face. I really liked it. I was like, I don't think any of the other Evil Dead movies have had that like side effect of being possessed. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Worst part of the movie, fucking. I guess I'm gonna just say like the beginning and end parts, like I mentioned. It just felt out of place. Like it didn't need to be there. Like those.
I like them.
Yeah,
I
but,
like the setups.
Yeah, but those people had nothing to do with the movie. It was just like an intro to be like, all right, they're look at that. and then
I think they had a little bit more to do than that.
They just the fact that the girl shows up at the. I guess if they end up making this into a series or a spin-off or a universe, they could say, well, no, it's not even the Ellie that's possessed. It's just another Evil Dead demon. So it's not. I don't even think the same demon that possessed that lady. Yeah. But anyway, those were my.
From the beginning, did all three of them die?
Who are you talking about?
Or
from the beginning?
The very beginning.
The boyfriend,
one day before,
and the girl died, and then the last time the last time the boyfriend gets decapitated.
Okay, yeah, I thought he lived, but yeah, I remember him getting decapitated.
Yeah,
now.
And then one of them girlfriend gets scalped. Or does she get scalped, or does the lady that comes up out of the lake get scalped?
She got scalped. No, she got scalped by the little sister inside.
Uh-huh.
And then she walks outside onto the dock with the boyfriend or the brother or whatever.
And that's when he turns around and is like, what the fuck?
I don't know, because she got scalped. I don't know if that killed her, though.
Well, I think movies and TV shows like to just be like, scalp, that means they're dead. Which that's not, I mean, plenty of people over time have lived from scalping. Like, that's not a death sentence.
Oh, there's a lot of people that live from...
That's how I felt. There's a part in 1883 where this lady gets scalped, and this guy, like, chases her down, and he's like, oh, she's scalped, and shoots her in the head, like, kills her.
Well, yeah.
And he's like, to be fair, at that point, like, I think she just watched her husband and people get killed, and she was raped, and she was crazy now, and scalped, so that's why he shot her. But I was like, she could have lived.
I thought she had arrows in her, too. She had, like, arrows in her back.
She may have had arrows, and the fact that there's a character in that show who got shot with an arrow, and that ended up being a death sentence later on, maybe that also could have happened to her, but who knows. But anyway, that's my best of worst of for Evil Dead Rise. Maverick, was your best of worst stuff?
I like the best of was probably the hallway scene where the mom just kills everyone. That shit was it was hilarious. It was gory, and the camera angle was fucking phenomenal. Just the peeking through the little peek hole in the door.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was phenomenal. Worst of dude, honestly, it's hard to hate this movie. It was just a fun time. Maybe because I had an alcohol buzz, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
All right. Well, hey, there you go. That's the end of Evil Dead Rise. Like me and Maverick both mentioned, it's a good time. Go watch it. You'll have fun. Get some buddies. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Next week, I have no idea what we'll be watching. I've ran through all the movies on my list that I had. I gotta go and add some more. So it'll be a mystery. Come back next week. Besides that, go check out the gaming channel. Stuff's coming out there a lot. I'm still, as of recording this, I'm still playing through Sleeping Dogs. So maybe another video will be out of that. Me and Maverick were just discussing the follow-up to our hit Dead Island 2 video. We were going to play Dead Island Riptide. So look forward to that at some point. I also, last week, told the people, Maverick, that me and you were going to play Dead Rising 2. So since I've put it out there, it has to happen.
Yikes.
Yeah. The question, that game is a co-op game. The question is whether or not you can still get into co-op games in that game.
Oh yeah.
But
that's
I
true.
don't know if that shuts down. I don't know. We would see. Like, luckily it's like $4, so it doesn't really. But anyway, so stuff's coming out over there. Go check it out. And besides that, thanks for watching. See you next week for whatever the fuck I find. Yeah. All right.
Next week.
Next week. Oh, thanks. Yeah, come back next week when Maverick probably won't be here. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.